On to our design formal review applications. First up, we have an application for design review of a site plan for the Envision building, part of the Village on Technology Hill PUD. This is at 5 Kitty Hawk Landing, zoned industrial, and the Village on Technology Hill Planned Unit Development, Londonderry Holdings LLC, owner and applicant.
All right, good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Let me introduce myself and my team first. My name is Nick Golan. I'm a licensed engineer and principal with the firm TF Moran. To my right, Mr. Jeff Bathalon, project architect with Market Square Architects. Excited to be here tonight. This is the crown jewel of our project. This is the Envision building for the purposes of Envision Technologies. For the purposes, just to give us a little bit of history as to what Envision Technology does. This is a defense contractor. They're an innovative company focused on developing and producing electro-optical systems which help their customers detect, see, and locate. In short, they're making the products to keep our servicemen and women safe. So it's always exciting to be able to represent an applicant like this and be a part of this type of project team. Let's get ourselves located first, if we can, and then we're going to start talking about our building, and I'll give Jeff the floor to do so. So we have an overall plan. To the north, or the upper left-hand corner of the sheet, is Kitty Hawk, Akira Way. As you come in off of Akira Way, to the right is our retail facility. Directly to the left is our childcare. We go over a very cool element of our project, which is our bridge. Which the abutments have now been constructed for, and we're looking forward to seeing that bridge be constructed. As you cross that bridge, directly in front of you is our leasing building. Then you can see in the circular loops our housing offerings. So spread across those 9 buildings, there's approximately 439 units. The last item we were here for was our on-point and what we're calling our Spec 60 building, which is a 60,000 square foot manufacturing space. Those are located to the bottom of the page to the south. Those come from Kitty Hawk Landing and essentially what we perceived as our truck route. We're going to work our way a little bit north and northeast, and you can see where it's a little bit more emboldened. This is the Envision building. It's a 2-story structure of approximately 237,000 square feet, associated parking areas surrounding it. You'll notice that the parking is divided purposefully. The lower portion, which is comprised of approximately 700 parking spaces, is for our employees, whereas to the north and northwest, you can see a smaller area, which is for visitor parking. Primarily has the handicapped accessible parking, but it provides access directly off of Envision Drive. There is a loop road that encircles the building for the purposes of the fire department as well as our delivery vehicles. To the south of the building is, again, the entrance for our employees. You can see that there's a network of some half arcs there that's intended to be an outdoor patio area. It sits directly outside of the cafeteria that's associated with the building. So again, just trying to provide all those various offerings that an employee really looks to need and have. So this is our 5th offering. We mentioned the infrastructure package was the first thing we talked about. It was the nuts and bolts, the roadways, the drainage, the water, the sewer, the residential and leasing, our retail childcare, the on-point, and the 60,000 square foot manufacturing. And now, last but certainly not least, is our Envision building. What I'm hoping we can do, and I was feeling a little nostalgic, was just looking back at our first meeting with you folks. So it was the very end of 2023. We had the opportunity to form this vision, this planned unit development. And what I was hoping I could do, if I can depart for just 1 minute, is I just wanted to read a blurb from our PUD. And I'm hoping with the images and the descriptions that Jeff provides that you can see how we really have met the mark. That we have set out over 2 years ago to create this village, this walkable community that's promoting these different industrial uses while also pairing it with retail and childcare and a residential offering. So if you wouldn't mind.
Please.
The driving concept behind the design is to create a modern mill, one that pays homage to the region's industrial heritage while embracing contemporary materials and architectural elements. The building's facade will feature a harmonious fusion of prefabricated materials and architectural elements. The building's facade will feature, a harmonious fusion of prefabricated exterior wall panels and glass, marrying form and function in a strikingly modern way. The large glass expanses, exterior wall panels and glass, marrying form and function in a strikingly modern way. The large glass expanses, although unconventional in the context of a traditional New England village, are strategically incorporated to flood the interior with natural light, promoting a sense of transparency and connectivity with the workspace. This forward-thinking architecture approach not only celebrates the evolution of New England's industrial landscape, but also reimagines it for the 21st century. The Envision Manufacturing Building aspires to be a symbol of innovation and sustainability, with its roof designed to support a solar array, demonstrating a commitment to eco-conscious practices. By further advancing the modern high-tech manufacturing building design of the nearby Insight technology, this building seeks to enhance the very concept of a modern New England village, symbolizing the region's ability to embrace its rich history while embracing the future with open arms. So despite my foibles in walking through a couple of those elements, I'm really excited to hear Jeff now explain how they have accomplished that goal. So if we could flip to the elevation drawing, and I guess the rendering, the rendering specifically, which is the next sheet. Jeff's going to walk us through just some various elements that we would typically discuss and how this really ties to the various structures that have already been created on site. Jeff.
So Jeff Baffon, honored to be here. So typically a lot of light industrial buildings are big boxes with no character. And for Envision, it wants to be part of the village. It wants to be seen. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish here. So looking at the renderings, that top view is of the visitor entrance. And if you scroll down, you'll see on the bottom view, you'll see the employee entrance. And so a couple of things that you'll commonly see throughout the village too as well is that we're maintaining that charm. And in this instance, we have the overhangs, we have the slopes, and we have ribbon windows throughout. And that's also another element that you can see throughout the village. The ribbon windows will provide natural light, a great working environment, and also take advantage of the wonderful views as well. Now, on that top view, you'll notice that you have the front entrance, you'll have that visitor entrance, and to the right there, you start to see where we are breaking up that facade, and we have a couple of accent borders as well. And in talking with materials, it's very important to have a base. And you're also going to see that throughout the village too, and you'll be able to see some of what we're proposing here is that simulated stone, and that is also commonly found through all the other buildings in the village. Keep that warmth. Warmth was very important to us. By looking now, if you're looking at the manufactured painted metal material there, that's also commonly found with On Point and Spec 60, the other light industrial buildings at the village. So really we're trying to be cohesive in our design and keep that charm that you see. So for metal materials, we're looking at 3 different types of tones. Again, something warm, something neutral, nothing stark. Also with the metal panels as well, you can see also looking at the siding on the underside of the overhangs, you'll start to see wood-like material as well. And that's also something that is warm and something that's very natural looking. And that's another common theme that you'll see at the village. Nick mentioned the solar array system. We do have a screen up on the perimeter of the roof, and that's also a common theme that you'll see at On Point and Spec 60. You wouldn't be able to see the mechanical equipment at all. That would be centrally located in the building. This is just more for the low profile solar array system, just to give that added protection.
What type of material is that wood?
So
Like material? You
yeah,
said?
so right now we're looking at metal panel does create a wood-like material, but there's certainly other materials out there as well.
And those would be metal panels with like an actual wood grain texture on them?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Is that on the top ridge line of the building?
So you'll see in the overhang, it's on the inside, and then it will come on the underside of the overhang as well. And we're also proposing that for the canopy, so you'll also see the canopy above the door itself.
Oh, I see it better when I zoom in.
Yeah. And that will be at both entrances.
I'm not sure which one's managing the screen. Can you zoom in for the crowd at home? Into the corners of the... You can see that, the wood texture that he's mentioning there.
Just taking the opportunity to give you the overview. We've talked about the different materials that are proposed. You can see the colors, ranges of the textures. One thing we're not able to talk about tonight is landscaping, but you can see the semblance of how this will be tied together. TF Moran's landscape architect, Mike Krasinski, will put together that landscape plan that will ultimately go before the planning board. But again, the idea is we're carrying through all these other elements that we've had within the village. These canopy-type tree elements, creating these smaller personal spaces within the development itself, and trying to do so in an environmentally favorable form where we're limiting wetland impacts. Where there are no wetland impacts proposed for this 237,000 square foot building. It's a tough option in New Hampshire with our sites, with our varying topography and the abundance of wetlands. So in lieu of impacting those wetlands, we've chosen to make them site features so that can be integrated with walking paths or otherwise as part of this development, which again is supposed to be a village feel and a walkable community, so that we've been able to achieve that.
Okay, so no landscape plan currently. Typically, we do ask for that to be part of the package, even for us.
Yep.
The lighting
expectation
plan-
is we would come back with that for you.
Okay.
We had the opportunity tonight, knowing that the architects are on schedule. We'll blame TF Moran, we're behind. But it gave you the opportunity to see what's coming. And also so that we could solicit your opinion, your thoughts. And if there are some tweaks, there's always an opportunity for improvements, that we'd have that opportunity to receive that feedback and then be able to pair that with the landscape architecture that you propose and bring that back for you at a future meeting.
Okay.
Are you
Guys-
opening to questions, Mr. Chair?
What's that?
Are you opening to questions now?
Yes, sir.
What will the backside look like? We're only seeing the fronts. Just curious what the back will look like.
You do have elevations on the first page of that document.
Yeah.
I know.
Scroll up. Yep.
I guess I was just wondering about the,
So we would be trying to keep the same material. It is proposed on that backside to be insulated metal panel, but
Gotcha.
that finish would be the same.
awesome. I love all the glass. It looks really, really cool with all the glass.
It provides some really striking views. So we don't really have a back of the building. The reality is it's aesthetically
So-
pleasing the whole way around.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Um,
The angles are really cool, and thank you for pointing out the textured wood areas. That really brings a lot more dimension to the building that I don't think people would realize just looking at the first image.
I would definitely say, in my opinion, this building for a commercial industrial building exceeds my expectations. you're right, most of the industrial buildings we see are big boxes, they're
Yeah.
just metal, with very simple features, and this clearly is not that, so.
As much as I want to give Jeff all the credit, we also have to give the ownership.
Yes,
credit, Because
absolutely.
they gave him the tools to work with.
Sure.
And the opportunity to design a building like this.
Mhm.
And it's exciting.
That helps a lot.
Yes.
It's a
And-
very good attention to detail.
The landscaping, if you stick true to what these look like in the renderings, also, it looks very nice, so. Be looking forward to seeing it, but as far as the building, I have no issues.
Mr. Chair, I have one other question. The plan drawing that we were provided, what are the areas in the parking lot area?
Oh, sure. So this is a very preliminary plan, but I thought for the purposes of at least tonight to get us located and to have a feel for flow, those boxes are subsurface stormwater systems. So not
Great,
really
okay.
applicable for our meeting tonight, but ultimately for the overall plans, that will be an important feature.
With such a big parking lot area and with how much you guys are doing solar panels, have you guys thought about doing parking lot solar arrays?
So there's pros and cons with the parking lot solar arrays. Pros obviously are we're generating more power, and that's a great opportunity. With the nature of this parking lot as curvilinear, it really, so I've had the opportunity to do a couple, the GE Aviation over in Hooksett. When you have very standardized spaces.
A lot easier, yeah.
You're in a pretty good spot.
Mhm.
But with that curvilinear nature, it really doesn't lend itself to the structure type
No,
that are required.
That makes sense.
Okay, further questions or commentary from other board members?
Yeah, can you show us the materials
Sure.
that you have down here? I know you brought them in. They look good, but we like the touchy-feely stuff too.
They're
That'd be the full experience.
Oh, wow.
It's, yes. So again, this is
Get the building down.
similar, pretty much the same material that's being used throughout.
So it's a
So same,
cementatious type
yes,
of.
it's simulated stone.
I don't need to see it.
He doesn't wanna hold that thing. Anybody else
for you.
down here?
Right.
The ones that
That one's
our
heavy.
chairman's holding, where will these ones be placed?
So that would just be the sill.
These are the sill. Wow, so
Yeah.
it's nice to see that, you know, it's
Yeah.
not just
It's heavy.
a fake kind of product, it's real, very durable and real, and wow,
Material for sure.
wow. Thank you.
Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah, I have a,
How do you see from here? I don't need to touch it.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good product.
I have a certainteed stone on my house, but it's of the vinyl variety, so
Yeah.
this is a little different. That's
Yeah.
heavy duty stuff.
This is halfway between the real stuff and seed.
Yeah.
It's a company made to last, and we want to make sure the building is too.
Hmm.
And that is, just for clarification, these renderings, because the building is large, are hard to tell, but it's just the bottom.
It's the
few-
base.
Few feet of the building.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
the base.
I think it looks very good. Okay. Further questions or comments?
Certainly one of the best looking industrial buildings we've seen in this town so far.
Excellent.
This will become part of our Londonderry lookbook, you know?
Certainly.
So from what I'm hearing for Jeff's sake is that he's done a nice job here. There are
Mhm.
specific revisions where we're looking to see in the building, and you guys look forward to seeing how the landscape will complement it, and we'll see you then.
Yes. Is there signage related just to this building at all?
There's a graphic the graphic shows an element that would provide some signage specific to the building, but the signage package would be done separately by a terrific vendor. So you'll still get to see that too.
Okay.
And the sign that's on the building is the same that's on the website for their company logo.
Yeah, I was asking more specifically if they were gonna have like any monument.
Yeah,
signs or
monument
anything like that up
signs.
front, But
That makes sense.
that's, I remember you saying now that you were gonna
You
submit the
come into
entire
development
package.
Directly in front of the leasing building, there will be a Village on Technology Hill sign, but final design is still in the works.
Okay.
Because you get the name up in the top part of the
Mhm.
tower part of the building, so.
Yeah, I would say, at this point, Only recommendation is that we have you guys return with landscape. Other than that, I think the design looks good.
Great, excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank
tonight.
you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much, gentlemen.
Mr. Butler.
Hey, everyone. You made it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, moving on to our next application. For design review of a site plan for a subdivision, site plan and conditional use permit for a 48-unit multifamily residential development and associated site improvements in the Commercial 1 District. 222 Rockingham Road, tax map 15, lot 150-1. Dark Horse Investments LLC,
are
owner
these
and
somebody's?
applicant. I'm assuming he's gonna come back for those.
They might have just been under here.
Oh, they might have just been sitting there already.
They kind of look older.
Put him over there.
I'm gonna be after him.
Community readers.
That needs Smith Road. Not the one near Smith Road. 22. Thank you.
Thank you.
Briefly, before you begin, with the addition of Jim Butler to the dais here, we will appoint him to vote in place of Kristen Endike.
Can it give us 7 voting members, full
Good,
complement?
thank you.
Favor guy.
I'm the wearer of all hats.
I'm good, I got it, thank you.
Good evening. My name is John Norton. I'm the owner, developer, and the manager of Dark Horse Investments LLC. And here tonight with me is Robert Schaefer, architect. So we're here to discuss our project that's located at 222 Rockingham Road, which is a residential multifamily development that consists of four 12-unit buildings. And we're also looking to subdivide the existing structure that's along the frontage of Rockingham Road. So you can see, if you flip to the engineering plan set, there's a nice overview on sheet 4 that kind of depicts what we're looking to do here. So just to give you, we've been working on this for a couple of years now, and if you're not familiar, this is located across the way from the large freezer warehouse on Rockingham Road, kind of adjacent, I guess, if you will.
There's a car dealership right
There's a
there.
car dealership right next door. Yep, exactly. And there's a commercial building as you continue down Rockingham Road. There's some restaurants, etc. So the property is about 10 acres in size. And we're looking to subdivide the existing house off, which is about an acre, leaving the remaining parcel to be developed for residential multifamily. The underlying zoning is the C1 district and is also within the Route 28 overlay district. So the property is about 1,000 feet deep, and we will meet all the applicable underlying setbacks and everything with this development, so we're not seeking any waivers. So what's unique about this is, as you see, there's actually a wetland finger that bisects the property, and it is really conducive to this type of development versus others, versus a commercial or industrial, et cetera. because it creates a natural buffer among the two, pods, I guess, if there are two pods here. So you have the first and you have the back. And what's nice is that these buildings will have trees surrounding them on 2 or 3 sides, which is pretty unique. And what's also unique about these is that this is a very much a different type of project that's been, built recently. Many new developments are several hundred units, which, doesn't appeal to everybody. And when I first went to the town with this concept, there's a very much an underserved market in Londonderry. And when you review the housing production plan, it's, the younger generation, they can't afford, to buy houses, and it's forcing them to leave Londonderry. And same thing with downsizers as well. So that's kind of who we're targeting here. And what's unique about this is that we don't have intentionally, we don't have the fancy amenities that you would see at some of these other developments, swimming pools, gyms, doormen, package people, we don't have that. So the intent is that these will be very competitively priced. I'm a home builder at heart, and, I'd love people to see people have home ownership down the road. So that's I'm trying to bridge the gap here and fill that need in Londonderry. And, that just kind of to set the table for the rest of the discussion tonight in terms of the design. So I'm happy to continue if you guys have any questions, or we can kind of jump into the renderings. Sure. So, Rob, feel free to jump in. So these are very unique buildings, and I think very efficiently laid out. So you have 4 units per floor, and what's unique about them is that they're all corner units. So a lot of these new developments, they only have 2 or 3 windows. There's not a lot of natural light. In this case, every single unit is a corner, a lot of natural light. And what's also unique about them is the layout inside is that they're almost mirrored. So, you could, have, young professionals that want to share the rent, or people, maybe siblings that are older, they want to move in together and downsize, et cetera. So everybody has their own bathroom, your own bedroom, but that common space in the middle, which I think is, very appealing. And the other thing is that what's unique about this is that you don't have 30 other residents on your floor. You only have 3, so it's a much smaller, feel that you don't typically see. So I just wanted to point that out. In terms of the design, I think, and Rob, you can speak to this, but we were trying to go for more of a traditional New England look. And what's unique about this is that there's a central staircase that serves these units, and the unit actually that same unit wraps around the staircase. So you get a lot of dimension by doing that when you look at the view 1 rendering. You can see the different roof lines, the gables, the hip roof, and same thing with the entrance. So in terms of colors, we went back and forth on this quite a bit, as you can imagine. But the first floor color is a platinum color. So it kind of reminds me of like a granite color. So we were trying to go with, earthy tones. And we end up with grays and natural linen up top. And in the middle, we have a mystic blue, which is nice and, reminiscent of the sky. We originally had green design, but it seems to be that's what everybody's doing. So we want to try to be different in that. So the first floor is cedar shakes, vinyl siding, platinum. And then as you kind of look at that entrance, in the middle, we have what looks to be a Douglas fir look door, which is kind of nice. And then at that front gable, we have actual PVC and a PVC composite board and batten. And that roof entrance right there, it doesn't really show it in this rendering, unfortunately, but it's actually a standing seam roof, metal roof, which is nice. Again, adds a little bit of dimension. And color as well. Yep. And I guess that leads us to the middle, which is your traditional lap siding that you would see on many houses in New England. And on the top floor, we actually have a vinyl board and batten, kind of to tie everything together. And that's a natural linen color. And I have samples of everything to show you guys tonight, including the roof color. And so I can...
The other aspect of the elevation was to try to reduce the impact of the overall height of the building, being 3 stories, by putting the layering of the colors and the horizontal bands. So it breaks up the verticality of the building.
And so you can flip through to, oh, and actually, let me take a step back. What you're seeing here in terms of the landscaping and the scale is exactly what we have laid out on the plan. So what you're seeing is what it will very similarly is a similar, accurate representation of what will be there.
The front entry area, wanted to try to keep it to a more residential scale, more inviting, more welcoming. Again, instead of a broad open space, it's a lower porch roof, more like you would find in a house.
And that's actually a good point on the porches. So what's also unique about this versus other larger developments is that if you look at the side of, the side profile here, even on that, on, slide 2 here, each porch, there's nobody else at your level. So you almost have like a private porch except from, who's above or below you, which is unique. Because if you look at other developments, you have multiple next to you, and so you do have a little bit of privacy, and that kind of gets back to, trees on almost all 3 sides of a building, which is also pretty unique. So I just wanted to point that out. That, let's see, and you can just kind of flip through the different renderings here. Then this is a representation of that the second pod on the site plan. So you're looking at that back pod. And you can just flip to maybe view 4 as well. There you go. See, there's a lot of dimension to these. It's not like your standard rectangle, garden-style building that doesn't, we try to have a lot of character here and a lot of dimension. And so that kind of, all the plantings here are a representation of what's on the landscape architect's plan as well. And so we can talk about that if you want now, or?
Sure.
Okay. And so just at a high level, it might be more helpful to just look at still on slide 4 of the physical presentation here. But I went through and I counted, we have 447 plantings, which is pretty amazing. So
Pretty dense.
yeah, it's pretty.
Looking at the,
Yeah, and a lot of them are little grasses and stuff, but we'll still add a lot of dimension to it. So as you look at it, we have kind of surrounding these buildings. We have a lot of naturalization, which is nice. So we'll allow some of these areas to naturalize. And another thing that I want to point out before we get into the landscape design is that one of the things that was important to me was to maximize the green space. And when we first started laying out this site, the first pod there of the buildings A and B, we originally had laid out for another retention pond between the buildings, but we were able to engineer the site to send that water to one huge pond in the back. So really trying to maximize that space and the green area around the buildings. So I just wanted to point that out. And in terms of the actual landscape design, I'm obviously not a landscape architect, but I think the renderings really kind of capture what we're trying to get at there in terms of plantings. And I think the requirement on the landscape plan, I believe we needed like 2,900 square feet of landscape area, and I think we have 5,400. So quite a bit extra plantings.
That's the green area in the parking lot, so it
Right.
breaks up the pavement,
Right.
breaks up the parking, gives
Yep.
some shading.
Shade trees, yep. And also, another thing to point out is, if you go back to that second pod, and this is not something in our rendering that we added after the fact, but if you look along that bottom lot line, you'll see, I believe, 7 trees proposed, and that creates a real nice buffer. Those will really grow in nicely. There's already a nice natural buffer there, but that's just going to create essentially a nice wall. So that was intentionally done and added as well. So,
I see you have some Syringa vulgaris in there. Lilacs.
lilacs are there.
Do like to see those.
yeah, and my, ironically, my proposed street name is, again, this is all, I think it's going to come down to the fire department, was Lilac Lane. So I thought that would be a nice name, but there's a Lilac Drive, so I don't know if that will fly. Probably not. So we'll give them a couple options.
They have a list you can choose from
They do?
also, yes.
Oh, okay. I'll have to
Yes,
check that
Who
out.
gave them a list? Because we're responsible for road names and nothing's happened, so
Oh.
I have to send crackling log.
Well, we weren't sure if this was going to be a named access drive, but it seems as though it might be, so we're still kind of, trying to determine that.
Access or axis?
Access, meaning the road entry, yeah.
Access drive, got it.
We weren't sure if it was just going to have a, 224 Rockingham Road or something, but it seems it's going to be named, at least from initial feedback, so. And I can give you some color samples and the roof samples as well if you guys want to look at that.
Please.
This is the roof's color. It's the granite. And this is the actual middle part of the building. And then these are the three siding colors, so you can kind of see how it goes with the roofing and everything, so. Let's see.
I got on my own.
Boy. Yeah.
Not heavy?
You said the platinum gray is where on the building?
That's on the bottom.
The bottom area?
Yep, first floor. That'll be Cedar Shake.
Cedar shake,
Yep,
okay.
Not
all
as
the
heavy
way
as a
around.
stone.
Yep.
Okay. The first image that we have doesn't show a cedar shake. It shows it as just,
You know what? It's actually, it's hard to see it. These files are so big that we have to simplify them, and you
Tone
can't.
down the resolution
Yeah,
a little bit,
unfortunately, the files are massive. They take hours to generate these. So that is the Cedar Shake entrance the whole way around the building. So we have three different types of siding, which is in your your lookbook as well, obviously. Those are traditionally what you would see here. And then that roof, like I said, at the entrance is different, gives a little bit of color and dimension. It's a standing seam roof. So that will just be a standard black, or dark gray.
That was an interesting choice. I was gonna bring that up, actually. What made you do standing metal on the entrance, but not on the rest of the building?
Better opportunity to put color in. Things with a narrow range of colors to work with, where standing seam, you can get it better.
Any concern about snow and ice?
It's pitched away, so there's walkways straight up underneath the gable, so all the snow and ice would fall to a landscaped area.
it's probably actually better for the snow so it doesn't stay on the building.
Yeah, it'll slide right off.
Yep. Last thing you want is the snow building up there and creating a different problem. Mr. Chair, are you open for questions to them?
Yes, sir.
So I gotta say, I really like the look of this, especially the detailed on the corners.
Thank you.
The corner pieces that you have.
Bracket.
It's very reminiscent of, I go down to Avon, New Jersey, and they have a lot of that kind of detail on the buildings. And a lot of the mixture of the different siding pieces of the shakers, the board and batten, and the different levels of the architectural corners. It's really nice and something you don't really see in this area too often.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think that the colors will really break it up well, and certainly this neighborhood with how wooded it currently is, people don't even, it's probably even there.
That's right, and that's from the streetscape. You likely won't see it, especially with that wetland finger. It'll block even more in the back.
And it's a little hard to tell from the different angles, but I take it every unit has a deck space.
Exactly.
The back is
Yep.
the same.
Wonderful.
What is the square footage in each of these? You may
It's
have
a-
mentioned this
It's
already.
about. I didn't. So it's a good question. It's around 1,100. So it's very comparable that you would get elsewhere. So it's my goal here is to provide a high quality, similar finish on the interior that you would get at a much higher price point without those amenities. So it's a very good sized unit, and includes everything you would expect. Washer and dryer, linen closets, things that you don't think about. An island, kitchen island. So.
I was about to ask about the washer dryer. You don't see that too often.
Nope, washer and dryer. It's going to be very competitive. That's the whole idea of this is to help bridge the gap of there's not a lot of options right now for my generation, you know, and this is kind of the target market. And it's funny, you know, when I went to pick up these from the print shop, the blueprint place, the lady that handed them over, she says, "Oh, these are great. I'd love to get my dad into one of those." I'm like, well, that's the other target market. So it's very interesting. So the first floor is very appealing for that, for people downsizing, you know.
Again, you get the old end.
That's right. Yep. And hopefully, you know, if they want to stay, they can stay. Great. And, you know, hopefully I can build them a house if once they save, you know, some money and they want to buy something. So.
Question?
Mr. Butler?
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you putting in the shutters, because it really softens the feel of the building versus some of these that are going up and
There's no character. Yeah.
none, they look like hospitals, quite. That's my opinion. Two things have me concerned, and I'm sure that it'll probably, the planning board will do, but I'll kind of mention it now because I'm sure it'll come up. Is there any elevators in here?
No elevator. Yep.
No elevators? Okay.
Or walk-ups.
The other thing too is, the location of the driveway is very close to Smith Lane, which is a very dangerous intersection. So my suggestion is, make sure the signing's appropriate and we have plenty of light there.
Yeah, we do have a light plan there as
Okay,
well.
yeah.
In this plan here, so you will see. You bring up a great point that I did not touch on.
Oh, it's okay. I think it's a great concept.
Thank you.
Fits it well.
Yes, there's a lighting plan on slide 14 of that, and there is a light at that entrance area.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So for visibility standpoint, and we
Do we
do.
have to do 150 sightline for this to State Road? I'm curious.
The site distance?
Yeah,
Oh, we have the site distances.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we did all that. Yep.
Because that's, we
yes.
gotta make sure, in my opinion, we gotta make sure that's cut back.
Yes, as you pointed out,
Yeah.
they'll obviously go through the planning board and
Yeah,
we'll
exactly.
cover traffic, but we did have a preliminary scoping meeting already about
Awesome.
this and the others that are
Okay.
along this corridor.
Yeah, that'll definitely be addressed, Jim, so.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I figured I'd bring it up now, though.
Now, when I look at Woodmont that we okayed, I say to myself, just before saying this, I said, too many textures and too many colors. Woodmont, it's busy, and I don't know, I keep thinking we goofed on that one, and now it's kind of here. Can we try to do like one texture and one color, or let's paint two colors? But like I said, Woodmont is, well,
I think, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I'm over there a lot, and those buildings are, multiple colors and textures in a row, so I know what you mean with it being too busy. I don't personally feel that way about this one. I think it breaks it up a little bit. If we went with one texture and color for the whole thing, it might look a little monolithic, I think. But
Agreed.
feel free to.
I defer to Rob on that stuff.
I
But
try not to do that. Yeah.
But Sue, to your point, the bottom color and the top color, if you look at the samples, are pretty similar. They're a little bit different, but they're similar. So they're not, completely
Texture difference
Yeah.
mostly.
texture and then a little bit of color, but
Yeah, the texture is going to darken the lower one more because it creates shadow lines within the material itself, so it does darken up a little bit and make for a better base.
Definitely good contrast,
Yeah.
it's,
Are the windows, are the windows in the stairwells, are they gonna be stationary, or are they gonna be able to
Fixed.
open?
Fixed windows? Is that what you're
Fixed
saying?
windows?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming the stairwell's just above the entrance, that row of
Yeah.
windows
Yeah.
directly above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Top
Oh.
floor would be a two-story opening, so you get a lot of nice light in there, and then I do openings on the sides too, so you get a real good light distribution coming in. Can hang a nice fixture in there.
Is because we had another project where the stairwell location was similar, and there was a roof there. And,
Open
They-
windows.
yeah, and the kids
Yeah,
could
of
literally get out onto the roof.
yeah,
That's why. I'm
that's
asking.
what doing fixed for sure. Yep.
Looks great.
Okay, further questions or comments?
Yeah, where are the mechanicals for these?
In the front left and
Heating
right.
or cooling?
So, in the front left and right, there's one's electrical, one's in water and
Sprinklers.
fire protection. The units have their own independent mechanicals. On the deck, you'll see a little closet door swinging in. That's where the HVAC VTAC unit will be. We'll try, considering their central hot water or hot water heaters in there too, so we'll determine that later, but there's room for either way to go.
Okay.
Any further questions
So
or
that,
comments?
with that, typically, there's no exterior air conditioner condensers, which I hate. They look terrible and running line set, so we have units that have that in the mechanical closet, so they're also wired off the unit. They're on their own circuit, the resident circuit, and they keep everything within the unit and avoid the
Single
air
failure point
condensers.
instead of the whole building.
Single failure, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, when you have those exterior ones, you have the environment that gets to them, not just, people.
Okay. If there's not any further questions or commentary, I think we can give our recommendations up to the planning board. Looks good, I think. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
So this doesn't go to vote, you recommend, is that how it works?
Yep, so we're an advisory committee,
Okay.
Got
so we'll give our recommendations to the planning board. Ultimately, they make a
Right.
hard decision.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of wires here.
What materials here
Don't forget, yeah.
for the next one?
Flat out.
Our concern, that is, you're right, it's going to be, because you've got traffic here, looking this way to go out.
Okay, moving on to our next application, which is for design review of a site plan, conditional use permit and condominium conversion for a 12-unit townhouse, residential development and associated site improvements in the Commercial 2 District, 295 Rockingham Road, tax map 17, lot 25, Page Rock LLC, owner and
Thank you.
applicant.
Thank you very much.
295 Rockingham Road.
The home-page road there where.
All right, thank you, everybody, and good evening. For the record, my name is Paul Chisholm. I'm with Keach Nordstrom Associates. I am joined tonight by Gary Thomas of North Point Construction Management, and from the owner applicant side, Dean Navaroli of Page Rock LLC. As you mentioned, this project is located at 295 Rockingham Road. It is a 12-unit townhouse development. Just from a real brief overview level of where we're at, where we've been. We're in the design review process. We have not received staff or peer review comments yet, so we're still a little earlier on in the process. We did, however, go to the Conservation Commission last month. As a result of that, we did kind of shift and move some things around. The paper packets that I passed out to you contain the latest and greatest, and also PDFs that will be up on the screen as well. I figured what we could do is just kind of flip along sheet by sheet, and I can just kind of run through briefly what we're doing. Really on the first sheet is obviously the detailed site plan. Access is provided right off of Page Road. Rockingham Road, if you're looking at this, would be kind of on the upper part of the sheet. The driveway, access driveway, obviously kind of comes in and provides a little bit of a bend, and then straightens out back in between the townhomes where there's individual driveways, landscaping, lighting, all of that stuff, and then guest parking and an NFPA turnaround on the rear end of that, along with stormwater management. That's also where the dumpster enclosure is proposed, so it'll be kind of hidden from public view in the back corner of the site there.
very close to it.
Flipping on to the next sheet was really just the grading and drainage plan. Just kind of gives you a sense of, how's it going to sit. It's a relatively flat site. I mean, there's a little bit of a hill kind of, or peak kind of in the middle of it, but it's going to be cut down a little bit. It is a relatively flat site. There will be a little bit of variation in topography, but more or less no crazy slopes or anything like that. Moving on to the landscape plan, you can see that there's a number of street trees and shrubs kind of present throughout, including in between each of the, driveways and garages for the units. Obviously, I know the town prefers to have some lilacs and lilac varieties in there, so there's some of that kind of spread out throughout. Moving on to the lighting plan, which is the next sheet. Effectively, the goal with this was to provide really a residential scale landscaping and lighting. The lighting is a little bit different than obviously like a commercial application or something along those lines. For safety, we did put a light kind of at the driveway entrance there, adjacent to Page Road. There's 3 other poles, so 4 total, the one by the entrance, one right in the middle, and then 2 down towards the end, just near the guest spaces in the dumpster area. Each of the units, of course, has, residential scale, building mounted lights. What those look like are on the lower portion of that sheet there. Moving on to the building itself, as I mentioned, these are 2 6-unit townhouse buildings each. Each of those buildings will have 2 bedrooms and an office. The first floor is a single-car garage space. There's obviously a space for an additional car outside of that. It's kind of the living, kitchen, dining room area. Moving on upstairs to the second floor is where you have the bedrooms and office. And then on the next sheet, you'll see that the lower level has a basement, for obviously storage and everything like that. These units are, the intent at this point in time is to turn them into condos, and they will be for sale. So that's why you'll see some of these things, it was kind of introduced into the design more so than what a renter would want.
What is
Moving
at
on.
this location now?
What's that?
What was at the location before?
Right now, there's nothing. I don't know historically what has been there. I don't know.
Question.
Dean or Gary.
Are you the previous owner, or did you buy it out? Because we did have some housing going into that corner
There's work
on
going on.
28
That was
and
just
Page
a
Road,
rezoning.
remember?
Right.
And they wanted a driveway going out to Old Mammoth.
Yeah.
They wanted to change some zoning there.
Yeah.
Is that you guys?
That was this. This is actually a scaled back version.
Okay.
There was feedback
Okay,
for that. I
got
think
it.
at the time it was 40 units, and
Yeah.
it was more of an apartment style
Yeah,
project.
yeah, got it.
That feedback, obviously, truthfully, I don't think we felt it was well received as a project, and there were some concerns
Back
that
at it, I get it.
yeah, that we feel that this is a stronger project to kind of address a lot of that feedback, and certainly it's different and less impactful. So, this is where we landed with it. I think really the best thing to look at here is the architectural perspectives. Gary and his team did an awesome job kind of preparing these. As you can see, I personally think it's a nice looking building. In terms of the materials that'll be on there, you'll have vinyl clapboard siding in white. There's also a vinyl shake siding in blue. The windows are vinyl, different colored doors. The roof is an architectural asphalt. So these are all pretty like standard residential, style, materials. For something like this, stuff that you would typically see, nothing really out of the ordinary, but I think it's done in a well way. And, personally, I like it. Obviously, reasonable minds can disagree with that, so happy to hear your feedback. But, that was really kind of the goal with this. The last 2 sheets in your packet, you'll see that there's a couple different signage options. We are certainly interested in hearing your feedback on if there's a preference, from the commission here. They're very similar at the end of the day. You can see the first option really, the sign's a little bit longer and a little bit shallower, if you will. And then if you go to the next, you'll have that same kind of stone veneer, and then the actual sign is kind of more centered in between the wood and the stone. So, obviously I'm an engineer. This artsy stuff isn't necessarily my forte per se, but so I'm always willing to entertain feedback from others who have a better eye for that sort of thing. So with that, as I mentioned, the team's here, happy to answer any questions you have.
I have a couple of questions. One being, did you happen to bring any samples, material samples with you?
No, we did not. No.
Okay. So then second question is, I'm just curious if the rendering is more or less true to the color scale that you're looking for. Is the blue and the white pretty close to what you're actually looking?
Yeah,
I'm
general
looking.
intent, but we're also looking for feedback from you guys too. And as Paul had mentioned, it's going to be pretty standard vinyl side. And we're looking for some maintenance-free and asphalt shingle. We are planning on the wood grain overhead doors and front entry door. They'll probably more than likely be a fiberglass or pre-engineered, not real wood, just
Better
because they're so
insulative.
expensive and,
Yeah,
so.
It'll simulate wood, though.
Simulated wood, that's correct, yep.
okay. And the windows are 2/1?
Yes, 2/1, and we're planning on sort of that farmhouse black look to them as well, so we feel like it just gives the project a lot of pop rather than just white on white,
I agree.
The rear perspective is pretty much just grayscaled. What is the color scheme that you're looking for there?
It would still be white across the back with that farmhouse look. I think what happened there was, if you look the way that our rendering system works, when it goes to flat like that, it's probably more of a shade and shadow, the way you see the overhangs.
Yeah.
On the front, you see sort of that grayscale underneath the overhangs. I think that's maybe what happened to the back of that, but we're planning on white, because then if you look at the other end gable, it's very bright white on the end gable look there, so.
Yep, okay. And matching material, obviously, to the front facades that are white.
Correct, yep.
Got it.
And the patios, we're still kind of working out the grades with Paul. These were early on renderings, but more than likely we'll probably end up doing granite steps out the back onto a brick paved patio or something like that. We're not planning on wood decks. We're looking at something more of a brick paver type. And there will be bulkheads on a few of them will have to have walkouts because of the pitch of the grade, but.
Yep, that's actually on the Page Road project. This is not on the 295.
True, yep, that's true,
But,
yep.
but yeah, we'll touch on that.
Okay. My personal opinion, I like the first sign a little bit better, but honestly, they are very similar, so
Yep.
either way, I think they look good. What kind of stone?
It would be more than likely we'll probably go with the guillotine real stone. Not a huge fan of cultured stone just because it tends to break down and fall apart, and especially with salting and things like
You've been
that.
through
So,
that.
what's that?
You've been through it.
Oh yes, very much so.
Any light within the sign?
Wasn't planning on it. No, nope.
Yep, you can see there's a couple lights kind of sticking off small scale on the
That's
side,
nice.
but not,
Yep.
yeah,
Anything
Yeah.
like that?
Oh, it's different.
Yeah.
very small scale.
And it
obviously.
won't be like lit from below or anything like that?
No, no.
Yeah, in fact, all the lighting for the project's dark sky compliant, so you'll have nothing, pointing up or anything like that.
I mean, for the most part, these are people that are going to live there. So if they haven't figured out where they live after, they need the sign, So we're just really kind of looking at it as an architectural feature and that small little light on the pier there, So
Sure.
Question? All right.
Mr. Butler, please.
I like option 2.
So be it.
I think the design's great. I'm a guy that likes shutters, just softens the face. That's the only thing I would urge you guys to consider. But everything else is fine. And that area for traffic's, as you probably know,
Yep.
past experience is tough, so I'd like to make sure that the sign is set far enough
Set back, yeah, sure.
Great job. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming back.
Thank you. And I know your previous clients here that just presented, all of our HVAC equipment is planned for the basement area, lower level, so that's where that stuff and it'll be forced hot air, so.
What is the, I see there's small, I'm not sure if they're vents or windows in the peaks of the roofs.
Really just an architectural feature, so it'll be faux, it won't be an active, we're gonna have our standard ridge vent and soffit vents and stuff, and so.
Gotcha.
These are just like a little lack of wood or something?
Yeah, more than likely there'll be a vinyl, but preferably not like really open to the attic. We just feel like it invites too many insects and
Be attached to the siding.
to the siding. Yeah,
And then right above the garage door, there's like a rectangle. Is that a design element also?
yeah, design element, but mostly to have like a barn style light fixture overhanging the garage door. So if somebody's expecting company, they can leave that light on, but not, light up the entire complex. So
I really like these garage doors.
yeah, thank you.
My wife would be jealous.
What's gonna be up in the peaks of the roof? Just open space?
Oh, open, yeah, more than likely it's gonna end up just being a standard truss
Yep.
system, no real usable attic space. They've got a full basement for storage, so.
Sure. Yeah, it looks good.
The little end bump outs are really meant to house between fire protection on one end and probably meter sockets and cable and things like that on the other end, so.
Other questions or comments from commission members?
I think it looks,
Is there going to be, I guess, do you have a light plan here?
Yeah, the lighting plan should be the
Last one,
third
gotcha.
one in.
So you do have a light at the entrance, I was about to ask.
Yes, correct, that's right, yep. And again, we're still working through those types of details. We haven't received the feedback from safety or, DPW or anything like that. So all of that is very much subject to change, and we'll do what makes sense. But, from a first stab at it, that seemed reasonable for us to put in there, and it seemed to make sense. So we'll see where it lands, but that's what we're envisioning.
Same overhanging barn style, like the oiled bronze, like black.
Yeah, but more than likely there'll be a black style to match the windows and, yeah.
there's a Deckard integrated LED outdoor wall lantern and a luminaire also.
Yeah, those, the one on the left didn't really come through well with the image on there, and we're certainly happy to, provide a more matching style for the overhead lights too, but that was kind of where our lighting consultant initially took that. I think a little bit of coordination there with the architectural plans. We're gonna make them look more like what you see on the renderings.
Because you send a copy of it to our staff, and they can always get it to us.
Perfect, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Okay. There are no further questions or comments?
I'd recommend it.
Okay. We will give our recommendations to the planning board.
Thank you very much.
Sounds good. Thank you.
job,
Thank you very much.
Oh, you have
We've
the
got one
next
more
one
for
as
you.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a double header.
think you'll see it looks very, very
Same crew, different. What do you do?
Yes.
Try not to get confused between the two sets,
Next, we have an application for design review of a site plan for a 12-unit townhouse development and associated site improvements, along with a conditional use permit for 1,335 square feet of wetland buffer impact in the Commercial 2 District, 3 Page Road, tax map 15, lot 235, Page Rock LLC, owner and applicant.
Seeing double here? See.
Very,
Okay, so yeah, obviously,
A replay.
yeah. Not a whole lot different here. I do want to walk you through a couple subtle differences between the projects. Obviously, this one does orient on Page Road and has frontage on Page Road similarly. There's also a second smaller parcel that's going to be merged with this bigger piece. And we are proposing, we originally had the driveway coming out to Page Road, but based on, we did receive feedback from the peer review and staff, and to kind of make things, I think, a little bit better. And although we haven't run this by them, this is kind of the first time anyone's seeing it. We feel like this is a better option, is actually to bring the driveway out to Mammoth Road, just given kind of where the stop signs are in that direction.
less
and everything like
traveled.
that. Yeah, I think it's just, a little less speed, a little less, quite frankly, a little less dangerous in my opinion. So we think that's going to clear up some of the comments and feedback that we've received so far. Obviously, we are working through that. So some of the differences between this, it's very much, the same style building, same style landscaping. The lighting is a little bit less on this, and I'll tell you why. We didn't put, and if you look at the third sheet, you'll see, we did add, obviously the same style lighting around the buildings, in terms of the fixtures and the orientation, everything like that. In terms of actually lighting the site, there's a couple guest parking spaces, and for the turnaround, we put 2 light poles on either side of that. We didn't put one up by Mammoth Road. The reason being that there's a house, right there. We felt it was reasonable not to have it. When you look at the other project, Page Road is a much wider right of way. When you add in the landscape buffers and everything like that, it just, you're an extra probably 3 or almost 4 times the distance by the time you get to the driveway on the other side. As I mentioned, the house across the street on Mammoth is pretty close to that road, so we didn't want to overwhelm them with light. The signage, same 2 options really, so it's going to have a little bit of lighting with that. There is an existing street light right at the intersection of Page and Mammoth. I'm not suggesting that would light this entrance by any means, but there is some street lighting out there, so that's kind of the difference in terms of the lighting with that. Like I said, the landscaping is very, very similar. Same style of plants and
Mr.
everything
Chair?
like that.
Yes, sir.
Since we're speaking about lighting now,
Yep.
I guess instead of doing a big overhang light, would it be
Yep.
appropriate for maybe spotlighting onto the sign for the entrance? So that, delivery vehicles or anyone else who's trying to find the area late at night or dark can actually find the location.
Yeah, I mean, we could consider options like that. I think this truthfully, I want to have a discussion with John and with staff and kind of work through that. I'm absolutely not opposed to that as an idea,
Yeah.
though. So we'll consider that, and we can.
There's little like spotlight things that pop
Yep.
up from the ground or something.
Yeah,
that shoot light up.
personally, I'm not a huge fan of a ground spotlight, mostly because of winter conditions and leaves and all that stuff. My
Just trying to think of
preference,
something to
excuse
spot
me?
the area.
Sky compliance.
dark sky compliance, my preference
yeah.
would honestly be to try to do a shaded LED that just sort of focuses on casting on the sign and it's not
too.
blinding people and it's
Downcast.
downcast only on the sign itself,
Yeah.
Just not crazy about uplighting ones for seasonal
No, of
effects,
course, I was just trying
so.
to-
You don't
Yep.
need to light the
Suggestion.
skies up, that's.
Yeah, yep,
Yeah, exactly.
Especially close to an airport.
yeah.
I know they have enough hardships these days, don't they?
But obviously, if we did that to one, we would probably do it to the other one, just so that they are similar,
Yeah, no, that
So-
sounds like a great idea.
Okay.
And then really the other key difference with this, in terms of the buildings, as you're looking at the site plan, the building to the north or the upside of your sheet is substantially similar to the other units you saw on the other one in terms of, having the basement and 2 floors. The units on the south side or the Page Road side, those are actually going to be walkouts. So it's going to be a little bit different, and you can see later on in the set, you'll see some of the renderings for that, just to really get a perspective of what it looks like. It's actually the first sheet that shows the buildings here. So, like I said, that's going to be the side that kind of faces Page Road. And that just really has to do with the way that the topography is on site. Things really kind of drop off as you get closer to the road, and so to counteract that, instead of cutting down a lot of trees and grading, into the landscape buffer and stuff like that, it actually really worked well with the site topography and the proposed grades to do a walkout on those units. So that's what we're proposing on that end. It does also leave, you don't have any bulkheads or anything like that, so it provides a little bit more room for patios and a little bit more kind of a, backyard area, if you will, for each of the unit owners. Obviously, materials substantially similar. I'm not aware of any difference on that. You can see the colors are a little bit different in terms of kind of that green color that's in there rather than the blue, but I believe the white is all really proposed the same.
Correct,
Same with the
yep.
doors and everything like that, so.
Oh, yeah, I actually had noticed, so it's more like a hunter green type of color?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Question?
Well, I was gonna say, wow, where's Page Road? How come I thought I knew, but it has nothing to do with Mammoth Road. So all of a sudden, I'm trying to,
Page
sorry,
Road?
what?
In Mammoth, can you describe the
how come I can't,
location?
I'm on a different.
Sure, yeah, so Rockingham Road and Page Road intersect. So across the street are a couple new industrial buildings and things like that. Page Road continues down, turns into Grenier Fields if you go straight, past Mammoth.
It's pretty much at the intersection of Old Mammoth and Grenier, as you would probably recall it.
Old Mammoth and what?
Page and Grenier, that four-way.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wait.
Right
The
up
old
the street
village.
from Merrill.
Oh, you said Old Village. That might help me.
Gotta use some of the old names for it.
I tried, that's
Oh,
as
Old
far
Mammoth
back as I
That's all
go.
I care
Old
about.
Mammoth is good. 'cause
That's
that's
the house, right.
me.
Okay, so it's up like past the Bacon Barn,
Oh,
headed towards Manchester.
Yes.
How much of that is coming down?
Oh.
South of Merrill Farm.
Check this
yeah, Merrill Farm where the apple orchards are is like that's right on Mammoth right there. Yeah.
Remy Fortin's place.
Yep, yep. That's right northwest. Yep.
Chair,
Mr.
real
Butler?
quick question. You have the back of some of those townhomes facing Page Road.
Correct.
And we're looking at it overhead now, and it looks pretty forested. How much of that is gonna stay? What I'm trying to get at is, I know how these things happen sometimes, and if we don't have appropriate screening there, people are gonna drive by, they're gonna see bikes, they're gonna see all kinds of
Sure.
items in the back. And we've discussed that before, so my concern is the sightline. And what type of screening we actually are gonna get there.
Yeah, so that's a pretty thick vegetation that's in
Okay.
there, and it's gonna remain probably about 35, 45 feet,
okay.
something like that.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so I'm not overly concerned
Okay.
about that necessarily, but.
I just wasn't sure how
yeah.
much
Yeah, in
was
fact,
gonna stay or how much you were gonna clear.
with being adjacent to a couple single-family residences across the street, there's a
Yeah.
landscape buffer that's in there and
Okay.
everything like that.
Good.
And, truthfully, that's a very wide right-of-way, and the road's really centered on it. So you if you look at it compared to the right-of-way on Mammoth, it's about 3 times, 2.5, 3
Okay.
times the size of it, so it'll provide a little bit more buffer there.
Good. Thank
Naturally.
you.
Yep.
Yeah, you gotta,
I agree with Jim. I like the option number 2.
Okay.
The sign?
That's,
Two votes
move it
for
around.
2, and I think
That-
Chris is 1 vote for.
that's right, yeah.
It's okay, either one, like I said, they both look good.
But the only recommendation of the planning board.
Okay.
you got some like 60, 70 feet.
The only thing that might come into consideration there is that first sign's large, so I don't know if the square footage is gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll
Either design looks great.
sure, and we'll design it based around what the square footage of what the final sign permit will allow us to do too. So.
Okay, further questions or comments? All right, we will give our recommendations to the planning board. Looks good.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Signs in town. Good.
Okay, I will open discussion to other business. If anybody has any to discuss.
Thank you, gentlemen.
These were, but,
We need to check up on our
Here.
2 alternates we haven't seen in a while. I think Megan Thompson and Laura Schenkman.
Okay. Megan Thompson, sorry, Megan Thompson. And Laura Shankman. Okay,
I was curious, what happened to the Lions Hall sign? Did that get stored anywhere, or do we know anything about it?
I am actually not aware of what happened with that after.
MIA. I don't know if Art knows anything more. There was a committee, right, that was overlooking whether to restore it
Yeah,
or.
Kathy Wagner's chair.
Yeah.
But Dave Woolley's kind of keeping, track
You know
of
what
things
sign?
there, so.
Just curious
If Kristen can,
if it was still around.
What's that?
or I don't know.
The Reverend Morrison House Committee is disbanded.
oh, is it?
The council took action on that earlier this year to disband it.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that meeting, so.
I'm
I
sure
will-
if anyone,
Of
Dave
course.
Waller would know where that sign would be.
It wouldn't be-
I don't have an answer on the sign,
Yeah.
but I
It's
can
probably
certainly look.
stored out back,
Dave Woolley's probably, I think, a good source.
Yeah.
definitely.
I can share a little bit of information vaguely related. Back last year, Ann Shamper and myself were working on the general history of that, and we made a submission to the State Division of Historical Resources to see whether it would meet the requirements for being listed as a state historical site. Well, I got an answer back 3-4 weeks ago. I tried to send it to the folks on this commission. I couldn't do that. My email, for some reason, is blocked. I could get it to Art, I think, and a couple of others. But the state has agreed that it meets the requirements for listing, and I believe from a communication I had yesterday that town council might be looking into it with Sean. Basically, if they have to actually agree, the town has to say, yes, we want to be listed. And if they say that, then it opens up some potential for funding for things like maintenance, restoration, thing like that when the money's available. All I've done, or all I can do as a private citizen, is just say, here's what we think it is, do you agree? And they basically said yes.
It'll be interesting to see where the council takes that. I see, look at the two double sides of that is, it's wonderful to have it as the historic building end of it for the town's history and everything else with it, but the other end of it brings a lot of complications upon a lot of restrictions than what we're able to do with the building and use the building sometimes, and financially sometimes what you're able to do with it.
Absolutely not. There's a big, if you look at the state website for that, if you get it listed and then you decide in 2 years' time, oh, we aren't interested anymore, I want to flatten it. All you do is tell the state, take it off the listing.
Interesting.
You're completely free. The only caveat is if you have taken money from the state to do something to it,
Right.
then you've probably got an encumbrance, but I'm
Right.
not sure what it is.
Right.
But actually the act of listing it doesn't encumber it.
Kelly?
I just want to note, this is scheduled for discussion in August with the council.
Yeah, I know someone, I forget her name now, the person that coordinates the
Tanya.
materials.
Yep.
She contacted me yesterday or the day before and said, could I send her some
Yep, so you should be
information? So I
seeing
know
that
it's coming
agenda
out.
soon, in the next couple days.
I thought it might just be of interest to this
Yeah, it's interesting.
body that at least the thing it meets the requirements.
Meets the requirements. That's interesting.
Okay.
I'm all set.
Open for discussion. I've been driving by the town forest, and I don't know how many years ago it was, Kent Allen,
Yes.
yeah, planted the American chestnut trees right across the street from the Historical Society.
Yep.
Well, they started getting a little ratty. And if you notice, if you drive by, they're starting to clean up a little bit. I couldn't help myself. I started trimming it, because they needed trimming. But I haven't finished it.
We have a
And
phantom
Dave must
cutter
have
again?
taken the pile of stuff that I had, and either Dave or Mac took it and got rid of it. But I probably should have come here and asked permission first, but if you go by,
Or the
you'll
town
notice it.
manager. Or the town manager.
I'd come here first, because we have control.
Yeah, but
Although
It's
the
in
forest
the-
falls under the town manager's management and control.
It's in the historic district
right.
also, so that's where the,
So,
I think you're good, Jim.
am I good? Am I
I
okay?
think you're good.
yeah.
case
I was
someone
worried,
stepped-
I was worried we were
who's
seeing
doing what?
the cutter again,
It's me.
new cutter.
I'm doing.
Right,
Oh,
I heard
yeah,
that.
the midnight clipper there.
Yeah.
You remember that? Oh, yeah, Jesus.
That was only one year, I think.
Yeah, only 1 year.
It was just during the
Yeah,
summer.
but it was like repetitive, right?
Oh,
It
yeah,
just kept
definitely.
happening.
All of a sudden you walk in there and you see these trees. Jesus. So,
All right.
I think Al Sypek has some cameras out there too. I
Perhaps it
don't
wouldn't
think
surprise
anything significant was in the photos.
Another one, I have another thing. When we have alternates, is there anything I can read and or sit on 1 or 2 meetings to see what we do? They come in like cold turkey, don't they? They seem to okay things.
They
and-
do.
but-
I don't know that we really have like a training program, so to speak, for any of the town boards. You just kind of come in and start learning and hopefully
On-the-job training.
Yeah.
But they
Pick
sit
things
in
up.
on, I think I sat in on 2 meetings just to get a, feel of what we do.
I think that's optional for, I mean, people who ask me they're interested, I say attend a meeting.
Yeah.
Anyway, whether.
Make sure
sometimes
you want to
it-
do it first.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
important.
so that would help, see, being on a meeting and saying, oh, wow, look what they like and this and that and all this stuff. Okay, another one is road names. Heritage is responsible. Did you know that? Do you remember that?
I think that might have been changed though because
It's
of
changed.
911.
Yeah,
Yeah.
911 has changed the whole thing, so the state's in control.
Yeah, the state controls all the
Wait
street
just a
names.
Because years ago, we had someone from the fire department come in and talk to us about it and say, you know, any family names or suggestions and such, so then they must have to do with checking with 911.
They have to go through, there's a process it goes through.
Yeah, because 911 doesn't want any redundancy
right.
or
Oh,
anything
yeah, that I
anymore.
know.
Everything's going to be very clear and concise.
'Cause
So-
we had to change a number of street names because of the
Yep, oh, I know. that.
similarities, so.
But the builder that came up with Crankle and Log makes me ill.
Well,
So
it's
I said-
happened, so.
No. I put in a list. I really did. I went to the LFD. It took me a while.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Different ones. and-
Because I know Maryland Ham had a list, I think that's what went with them also, so, when
Maybe
the
ran out.
911 first started.
Right, maybe they ran out.
But any more names, send to them, they do all the submission to the
It's been the LFD guy. That's why I
911
top
system.
names
How
off.
long ago was this?
But I did it.
Yeah. Quite a few years, I'm guessing.
My list?
Not
Oh, sorry. Oh, no.
because 911.
I know, I just
mean,
know.
because
Oh, that- I
911 has
don't-
taken over quite a while ago.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I
Are
can
we-
answer that one.
You, when you haven't entered yet, you need to enter it.
I
You
have
have a
one
non-public on that.
comment
Yeah.
as pertaining to Jim's common areas of the town common. As you had said, it falls under the historical area for the Heritage Commission. The new area that we had cut out next to the common, it's getting pretty muddy. I don't know how often the town goes and seeds or maintains that area. I know we maintain pretty well the main part of the common, but that new area that we cut out, I don't know how often we maintain that, because it's getting pretty muddy.
I know it's mowed, but it's always been wet.
Yes.
That was part of
It-
where
it-
we had
it's-
the drainage issues.
Right.
Well, we had the drainage issues in the main area of
Right.
the common, which is why we spent a good deal of money on.
With the
drainage,
main
but
area, it did help that part a little bit. But it always seems like, several days before Old Home Day, we have some
Yeah.
rain.
Mhm.
All the time.
And Old Home Day, that you can sink down in that
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
spot. So I think it needs more of an extensive drainage system. But you can talk to John Trottier. He's got a good handle on.
My wife was just noticing last night at the concert on the
At the
common on
concert.
how
Yes.
muddy it was last night.
Yeah.
I think we aggravated it a few years ago. Where the cars park, there used to be a drain that went back into the woods there.
Yep.
And that was all filled in to make the parking area.
Accommodate parking.
So now you've got the water is being forced to stay in the common.
Well, we had gone through the whole process. It was all redone.
Yeah.
With drainage in there that, back to when Janos Trzaskowski was here. He was the one that designed that whole system. We didn't have the money to do an elaborate system that he thought would work better, but we had what we had, so.
Yeah, there used to be a sort of a shallow berm went
Swell.
back.
But it used to be wet right in front of the bandstand,
Yeah.
so when you stand, at the concert, you get soggy feet.
Oh. But that's pretty much corrected
That's
itself.
correct.
for the most
Yes.
part.
Yep.
And the pipe, those drains all go underneath
Yes.
that
Yeah,
driveway into a
but they go
swell.
back the other side now.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah.
French
Used to be-
drains under
The
there.
berm used to run down beside the old disused well that's in there.
There's a whole underground network there
Yeah.
that,
Hmm.
That new area cutout, I think we just need to have someone take a look at it.
or at least,
Do some laser lines.
like trenching around the outside of it. so
They may have
water-
to change the pitch or something,
Mm.
because it kind of swales there.
I think,
that I noticed.
couple of loads of loam in there might help it.
Oh,
Did DPW do that stuff, or did we have an outside
Uh,
contractor?
I think we had, didn't we have Continental do it?
Might have been a mix of DPW and Continental.
Yeah.
Well, I think they had the contract, I think, no, to, when the
To do the
common was
drainage.
redone.
I don't know, because I think DPW put in the emergency entrance there.
Mm. I think it might have been a
Yes,
little
that
bit of
was,
shared.
that was
Yeah.
a Dave Woolley enterprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, he actually came before us to talk about that.
Yeah. But yes, it's still a problem. So,
Yeah, someone should look at it.
Hmm.
I think we need to build it up, or
Yeah, or maybe we can get an opinion out of Dave, or have him in
Something.
some future meeting
Yeah, I
to talk
think we
about
should.
it.
Have Dave look at it,
Yeah,
see what he thinks.
Okay.
He'll tell you.
I can send an email,
Yeah,
ask Dave what his thoughts are.
Yeah.
If, he's probably already thinking about it, if it's, you know, getting muddy all the time, especially during public events.
but it's always been muddy there.
yeah.
And there's a drain there too.
I think since we cut it out, it's just
But-
seeing a lot more use.
I don't know if it's too hot, I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
Okay.
The other thing too is I noticed is that the underbrush where Kent cleared up, starting to regrow.
Oh,
So I think that, I don't know what kind of equipment Dave has, but we get a grub mower in there or something to cut that
just to
down.
cut it,
Yeah,
It'd be a pity to lose it. I mean, Kent did a fantastic job in there.
Right,
I mean, Kent was all
yep,
physical.
oh my God.
yep,
Yeah,
yep.
No,
yeah.
no
I
equipment.
tried to
It was,
help him a couple of times, but I'm way past doing
Yeah,
anything now.
I get it, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eating had a couple of goats in there at one time.
Yeah,
trying
we
to get
did.
rid of it.
And then someone complained because there was a little
Yeah, yeah.
stuff coming out of the goat's
Yeah,
nose.
little
and
odor.
Someone
Yeah.
complained.
Run
was the end of that.
They
But-
weren't eating the right stuff either.
They, you know,
No, I don't think they're touching the
They-
bittersweet
It
at
was a
all.
nice
Yeah.
idea, but it didn't quite work
They
out.
eat everything, so
oh yeah,
siding
yeah.
off your house.
they'll eat your flowers. and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, send a note to Dave Woolley and, or even to John Trotter also. Because John's the, engineering the
Yeah.
whole drainage system with Janos.
Yeah, no,
You're right though. If we let that go, that'd be a crime.
I know both of them have a strong interest in it anyway, because I think John walks through there during his
Oh, yes?
lunch break,
Yeah.
or used to anyway.
All right. Any other business? Okay. I'll open the floor for public input. There is no public present.
We have quite a crowd.
Yeah.
line up.
All right, final item on the agenda is a non-public session for consideration of legal advice from town council. From town legal counsel. Because this is legal advice, it does qualify for RSA 91-A. In order to facilitate a
E3.
closed section, yes, please, if you could be more specific.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we go into non-public session. According to RSA 91-A:3, Roman numeral 2, item L. And item L, I try to keep up because the legislature keeps adding things on here. But it's consideration of legal advice provided by legal counsel, either in writing or orally, to one or more members of the public body, even where legal counsel is not present. So,
Roll call, please.
we need a second.
We need a second first, but
Second.
yes.
Second.
Okay.
Can we turn the cameras off?
We're gonna go
So
into
we're
Sunny
actually gonna
Crest.
move.
Oh, we're gonna
yeah.
go into Sunnycrest?
Yeah, so I made
Okay.
the motion and
Second.
Ted did the second.
Seconded by Ted.
And
We'll have to have a
it's
roll call
Roll
vote.
call vote. So,
Hi, Dave.
for
You
going
to-
going to
to
the non-public, so
Sure.
just
Aye.
like, so, I,
Yes.
David Cole Glazier,
Okay.
I, Arthur Rugg.
Hi, Chris Kenny.
I, Sue Chowdhury.
I, Dick Holmes.
Hi, Jim Butler.
Hi, David Ellis.
Okay, motion passed.
We're in,